Graphic designers in America today are working in a complex atmosphere of advancing technology, new demands, lower budgets, and increased competition in our field. The growing popularity of crowdsourcing and online design competitions have given self-taught designers an opportunity to achieve an amount of success that would have been impossible in our field 30 years ago. In researching about how these changes are affecting qualified, trained designers, I came across a hot topic of debate within the design community: graphic design certification. There are already a few countries that have such a certification program in place, like Canada, Australia, and parts of Europe. Proponents believe that such a process would distinguish qualified designers from amateurs, educate people on the importance of our field, and increase both the salaries and the respect of those certified. The debate on certification began in the early 90s when Ellen Shapiro wrote about the issue in an article for the AIGA journal. Her proposal suggested that certification would encompass education, experience, and testing of objective information essential to practicing design. The certification would be a voluntary measure, administered and enforced through a neutral governing organization. In other words, untrained designers could still legally practice. The certification process would simply help businesses to distinguish the diamonds from the rough. With the evolution of crowdsourcing, it's clear to see why this debate continues on within the design community. As I mentioned, there are several countries that already have a graphic design certification program in place. Those countries include Canada, Norway, Switzerland, the United Kingdom, Denmark, and Australia. Though their programs vary, they share a common structure. For example, someone looking to get certified in graphic design would start by going to design school, followed by 3 to 7 years of job market experience after graduation. They would then apply for certification status, where they would undergo a review of their past experience and their portfolio. They would also complete at this time a test evaluating their knowledge of design principles and ethics, as well as a mastery of design software. Supporters of design certification in the U.S. propose that similar measures exist in related disciplines, such as industrial or interior design. They see the benefits that certification has on these fields. In addition to elevating awareness and respect among business, they argue that it provides a unified voice from the design community, educating business and the government about the value of design. Also, with set benchmarks for design education, they believe we could bridge the gap between academia and what is expected out of design professionals. Those in opposition question whether or not certification would really have an impact on either our reputation or our salaries in the business world. According to a recent survey by the AIGA, graphic designers with a master's degree only earn on average 4% more than their counterparts with a bachelor's. In this challenging economy, businesses will likely continue to try to cut costs wherever possible, either by using crowdsourced design or through some other method. Furthermore, they argue that a test doesn't really reflect skills or account for differences in style. After all, they argue, how can you measure one's artistic talent or their ability to effectively communicate with clients? Because of the variation in job descriptions and skill sets among American designers, it would be hard to come up with a set way of measuring what is either needed or exists within a certain individual. The very definition of graphic designer is constantly evolving, moving from the craft of manipulating and arranging type, now to dealing with the difficulties of design thinking and creating sustainable systems. Furthermore, technology and new media are changing the way we do business, both in America and globally. The task of staying up to date on this would be an undertaking by any governing body. The AIGA, what would seem like the most likely choice, are also in a period of change and growth. It is hard to imagine that they can have the time or the unified leadership it would take to implement such a huge change. Lastly, there is a fear that the impending doom of a certification test may negatively alter design school curricula, causing them to focus more on the short term of chasing technology at the expense of the long-term strong foundation in theory. The major difference between existing certification programs in other countries and the U.S. is that our country is much larger and more varied, and any attempt to quantify design skill would have to be as deep as it is wide. How we understand, evaluate, and evolve our position as designers will likely continue to change, much as this debate has. Time will tell if we have the need, desire, and manpower to pull off a nationalized graphic design certification program. Until then, what we can all agree on is that the field of graphic design is in a constant state of flux, sharing a vital and unique position within both business and culture.